South Florida foreclosure auctions are on the rise. Don't be a victim to the foreclosure auction. Let us help you navigate through your tough situation. Today, we're here to talk about the state of the auctions and the real estate auctions in the South Florida market. South Florida's housing market has always been unique. Right now, foreclosures are starting to rise again. High interest rate, expensive insurance, and rising taxes are pressuring homeowners. We're not at 2008 levels, but courthouse auctions are getting busier every week. At the auctions, every week, thousands of properties hit the auction block: single family homes, duplexes, and even commercial properties. Some bids start as low as a few $1,000s, but it's not that simple. A lot of these properties carry liens, violations, or major issues with the city. For investors, this site brings opportunities, but you have to do your due diligence and know what you're doing. You can't just go into this auction and expect to hit home runs every time. You have to do the proper lien searches, you have to check for liens, and you have to know what you're buying. These are only cash only properties, meaning that you put in 5% of the amount that you're going to bid on, and meaning if you win a property up to 100,000, you'd have to have 5,000 in the escrow account with the county before you're able to bid. This is very important. You have to keep in mind a lot of different factors: expensive repairs. Buyers often compete with seasoned investors. Due diligence is your top priority when you're buying in these auctions. So, without further ado, let's take a look. PalmBeachPropertyBuyers.com. If you need a quick comparable market analysis, we're happy to do that for you. If you need to list your property, we only charge you $89. You send in your pictures, and we list the property for you. If you sell the property, you don't pay any commissions. If you don't sell the property, all you paid is $89 and gave you put your property in front of thousands of people. So this is where you have to go in order to get to the foreclosure auction. There's just the URL right here, and then you're gonna go to the online auction site. This one I created for you guys to see. This is another one that I have. You're gonna go to calendar, and then in this calendar, it's gonna show you all the upcoming auctions that are gonna be coming up in the next 30 days. So the next auction is gonna be on Monday. They've got 12 properties going up. Now keep in mind, a lot of these properties they're gonna fall off the day of the auction, and the sellers, or the people that are losing their property essentially have a cash on sale clause where if they come up with the cash themselves, they're able to redeem the property. And also, some of these properties might go into canceled because the bank will just put in uh, a cancellation, whether they sold it as part of a portfolio or they ended up not having a certain paper that they needed, like notification. Everybody has to be notified, it has to be publicized. There's a lot of different factors that go into these auctions. That's why it's a better idea for you to buy the deals directly from me, because all the properties are going to come clean, free of liens, ready to go, ready to renovate, ready to fix and flip. Take a look. This is a property coming up: 14790 87th Street, Loxahatchee. Final judgment amount 514,000. When you see here plaintiff max bid, means that they plan on selling this property. That's why they're showing you what they want out of it as their minimal bid. Now, if you want to do a quick search on the property, in a prior video, I showed you guys how I'm able to just calculate very quickly what the bank is willing to loan on this property. So it gives us a little bit of information about the property, and it doesn't always work. You know, not always you'll be able to get the home value estimator to work. That's why home value estimator for this property is 204,200. This one next door, it's 715. The one on this side is 470. The one on this side is 691. How big is this property? Let's take a look. 2,323 square foot, living area 1,326 square foot. Now you could also, if you had access to the MLS, um, if you're part of the MLS, you could also search by parcel ID and run quick comps. They have a good app for that in the MLS called iMaps. Or in Palm Beach County. We're gonna put the parcel ID number, and then we're gonna do start search. Run a quick search, get an idea of what the property is. Big lot, decent property, looks like. Might need a little love. Let's see. So yeah, they're asking 541,000. Might be a little bit steep. Now at these auctions, you're not gonna steal these properties. Maybe in 2008, 2007, 2006, when it wasn't on the internet, you had to go in person, you had to show up, you have to park your car, you had to get checked in at the courthouse steps and then sit down in a room to be able to bid on these properties. I was a part of that in 2007, 2008. But nowadays, people are bidding from all over the world. So you're competing with a lot of people that might not be savvy investors that are price driving the prices up. You have to be careful from that. So you got to do your proper due diligence because remember, a lot of these properties are going to have a lot of times liens from the city. They've been vacant for 2, 3 years, 4 years, going through the foreclosure process. They've been vacant. So the grass has overgrown. People might have broken into these properties, stole the electric panels, stole the in some cases the copper plumbing if the neighborhood is rough. Now, with these types of properties at these prices, you're not gonna usually encounter these problems. But remember, you can't get access to these properties. It's sight unseen. You can only drive by it, look at it from the outside. It's not like they schedule an open house for you to go and take a look inside and see if you like the kitchen, see if you like the bathroom. It doesn't work like that. So you have to calculate all this information beforehand. So this is the most recent sales. This one is a 2 bedroom, 2 bath. It sold in 24. 24 was a little bit stronger market than we're seeing in 25. And this one is 1.29 acres. The subject property is 1.29 acres, and the comparable property is at 1.370 acre. It's a little bit bigger lot size. They got 354 per foot. Then you have this one, it's 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, sold for 590,000 in April of 25. So yeah, this property might be worth about maybe 6:30, 6:40. You got to give yourself a little cushion space for the things that I mentioned earlier. So this is just one example of a property you could purchase straight from the bank at the foreclosure auction. We can help you do that. If you'd like to get into that, we can help you with the lien search. We work directly with a couple of real estate attorneys that will be helping us with the lien searches and handling all the other stuff that are needed. Where we make sure whatever we're bidding on is a great property and a great deal for you to make sure you get the right return on investment. We're here to help you. PalmBeachPropertyBuyers.com. This is what we do. We've been in the business since '08. And let's just take a look at another property here. We're gonna go back to the auction. You could also here you can see the legal description. You can see the case disposition. You can see the case calendar. What are the financials on the case? And then you're able to place a bid here once you've got the money in escrow and all your deposits and everything is handled on this side. Let's check out this other property in Riviera Beach. Riviera Beach. Take a look. Okay. Let's see what Chase says about this property. Okay. Now, like I said earlier, Chase is not always accurate. Yeah, they're definitely completely off with these properties on these numbers, or maybe they're being more conservative now. I'm not sure. They used to give better numbers than this, but that's why you don't have to rely on that. If I didn't have this site here, which is the resource panel, then I would actually go to the Palm Beach County Property Appraiser. And then I would search the property, put in the address, and sometimes it doesn't come up with the complete address because of the way that it's put in. You're able to go ahead and get the parcel ID. I always use the parcel ID because it's kind of like the VIN number of the car. It's a lot more accurate than than the actual address when you're looking up these types of things. There we go. This is the property right here. Looks like it might be some kind of townhouse. So one thing about these townhouses or about these properties in these HOAs, subdivision Sierra Bay, um, that might be an HOA. So you have to be very careful that you're not buying a property that had, like, let's take a look at this one and see when was the case on this. This is case number 2023. This is the case number right over here. 50222023. That's the case number. And they're going to be selling this one as well. They're going to be selling that property as well. To check the comps on this now, you can see how much they paid for it. They bought it in 2021 and they're already getting foreclosed on. Wow. What happened there? It was a homestead. Now over here, you could take a look and see nearby sales. And then you could filter out over here, what are the nearby sales. I would usually go 6 months back. October 1st, and then first search. It's going to show you right now. This is the freeway that you can look up if you don't have access to the MLS login, which I do. These are some of the great tools that they include for us, but I don't always go off of it. I always double check the numbers here with Papa because this is the most accurate site right over here. So this is what you got. It's a townhouse. They're telling you the recent properties in this area within a half-mile radius, give or take. It shows you here on the map where they are exactly. And the comps there are between 240 to 275. So this one is got some meat on the bone, definitely, if no one else bids against you, but usually that's not the case. We're going to be watching these again. I'm going to make another video to show you what happened with these properties and these case numbers. I'm going to save them now so we could go back to them. I'm going to go ahead and save them so we could go back to them and put on the watch list. Okay. Select on the case. This position, return to document, add to watch list right over here. We're gonna watch this one. We're also gonna watch the other one. It's Loxahatchee. This is the one in Loxahatchee. Finish with this. And then same thing with this one. Select on the case, add to the watch list. Now you can watch how much it actually ends up trading for. The next property on our list is 6256 Willoughby Circle, Lakewood, Florida. Let's take a look at this. I will just copy the parcel ID. Parcel ID is the most accurate. That's what I will definitely use every single time whenever I'm doing any of my research. I will definitely use the parcel ID. Go back to Papa. Go up here. Home. Throw in the address. The parcel ID. It's gonna take you, verify the address. This property sold, wow, in 2021. We're getting a lot of properties that sold in 2021. These people, when they bought these properties, like I mentioned in another one of my videos, is they didn't calculate tax and insurance, which are two major factors that you have to calculate whenever you're buying the property. Like I explained in the previous video, if the previous owner of the property was paying the taxes based on their old purchase price, and then property appraiser only going up a certain amount since it's homesteaded, then they're only paying the taxes based on the assessed value of the property at that particular time. Now, when the property trades at, in this scenario, at 440,000, then they have to pay the tax and insurance on 440,000. Now, to insure a $440,000 house, it's about 7,500, depending if you have the right windows or not. It could hit even 10,000 if you have an old roof, or if you have some windows that aren't hurricane proof impact. Another factor that you have to calculate is now the taxes that the previous person that owned it since 2015 for 275,000, this person now has to pay taxes on 440,000. Tax on 440,000 comes out to another 10,000 a year, give or take. So right off rip, you have 20,000 a year just in tax and insurance, give or take. All that has to be calculated whenever you're buying these properties. Let's go back. Let's check the nearby sales. Nearby sales. Okay, it's a house. It looks like there might be some kind of HOA. Let's see if there's a gate here. Yeah, there's the gate right there. There's the gate right there, if I'm not mistaken. Looks like a decent neighborhood though, because take a look at all the grass. I used to buy in the auction, not to interrupt the video, but I used to buy in some in some moments I would buy three, four houses in these auctions in the same day. And all this knowledge that I'm sharing with you right now took me years to learn. If you take a look at the house has got barrel roof. Take a look at the neighborhood. Take a look at the grass, well manicured, beautiful, beautiful house in a beautiful neighborhood. These are the comps right here. The comps, you got 6381, ours is 6256. This property traded in 5/10/2024 for 689,000. This one traded more recently in February 2025, and then you have this one that traded in April 23rd. Oh, on my birthday. Happy birthday to me. Somebody made a purchase. Good for them. 545,000 is what they paid for this. 2,145 square foot. Take a look at this one. Over here, you could also see a little bit more about the property. You could also see how big is the 2145, about the same size. So this house, give or take, is probably worth about 500,000 if you're buying it sight unseen for cash. I'm not even gonna bother with the Chase. Chase is just disappointing me. I would just go straight to the property appraiser. You're gonna get the more realistic numbers. Here they're hidden. They have it hidden. Now, when you see the hidden, it means that they might sell it and they might not. So you just have to watch it, have your escrow deposit of the amount that you're willing to bid up to ready, 5% of it, and the money is due by 2 p.m. the next day. The final judgment is 434,000. So they might take for this. They might take 400,000. You never know. The next property we got here, plaintiff max bid. Looks like they're gonna be selling this one. Let's take a look. Copy the parcel ID. Close this out. Close this out. And then just go here. Paste in the parcel ID number. Search. It's gonna show you the property. There's a parcel ID number right there. This might be also an HOA property. Remember, HOA properties, whenever they went into foreclosure, you probably owe since then. Because usually they stop making payments. They first stop making payments to the association, then they stop making payments to the bank. In certain scenarios, and I'll teach you more about this in future videos. Let's take it one step at a time. Um, if there's no mortgage on the property and the homeowners association forecloses on the property, it becomes the homeowners association property, and they can do whatever they please with it. They can sell it, they can rent it, and they can do a lot of things with it. If there's already a first mortgage on the property, then that cannot be the case. They cannot foreclose on a first lien position from the bank. You have to be careful when you're buying these. That's why, again, I used to buy a ton of these, 3 to 4 in one day. Sometimes I would bid on about 15 properties to end up with two. I did this at a very young age. I was about 23 years old when I got into this, and I learned it at the courthouse steps. Take a look. How big is it? It's a 4 bedrooms, 2 bath, two full bathrooms. It was built in 2020 and it's already going in foreclosure only 5 years later. Somebody spent big money on this. In 2020, they paid 366,758. This is essentially a brand new house. Let's see nearby sales. You got nearby sales at 440, 530. Let's see if there's anything more recent. The most recent one is in February for 535,000. Let's take a look. They're gonna start the bid at 398,000. So you have a little skin on the bone. Remember, this is a 2024 case. So you have to calculate how much is a homeowners association since you have to anticipate they stopped making the homeowners association payments since 2024. So that's also due. This is the next property. They're gonna be going up to 146,230. Now, a lot of people they don't know, but whatever is the surplus from this amount of money that comes in is actually owed back to the person that previously owned the property. They just have to request for it. So if this property ends up selling for 200, 300,000, the the previous owner of this property can get any overages over the judgment amount. Just fun fact for you guys, teaching you the ins and outs. This is what we do. Parcel ID number. Papa, right here. Paste it. Okay. Got it in 2025. Hmm. Let's see. This might be. Gotta take a look at the documents on this one. Look at the case files, case disposition. See, that's another thing you have to be careful for. This is the association. This is what I told you about the association liens. This property doesn't have doesn't have any lien on it. Somebody quick claimed it to this person. Mr. Willie quick deeded it to Michelle Karen. Michelle Karen quick deeded it to Michelle Willie. Michelle Willie quick deeded it to Michelle Karen. So this is the homeowners association actually foreclosing on this property. This is a perfect example here of what we just discussed a moment ago. Add to watch list. Let's see how much it ends up trading for. This is the one with the homeowners association. Let's take a look at this one right here. 803 36th Street, West Palm Beach. Let me tell you, the entire West Palm Beach area, Broward County, Miami is still underpriced. You're getting paradise prices. Uh, you're getting ghetto prices in paradise. If you go around the rest of the country, the properties are trading for significantly higher in much uglier places in the US than the beautiful sunshine state of Florida. Let me tell you that. Still underpriced, undervalued. Only way to go is up from here. This is the parcel ID. Take a look at this one right here. What was it? Always close out any tabs that you don't need so you don't get confused. You got this one right here, 803 36th Street, West Palm Beach. This is in Northwood Hills. This is, I know exactly where this is. I owned a house in this area that was a historic house built by Maurice Fatio. Maurice Fatio was a renowned architect and builder that built houses for the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. I could actually show you guys the property. Take a look. Property is right here. We're gonna come back to this one. Take a look. Sorry to get off the subject, but I really like that area. This is the property right here. It took me forever to get this property squared away. It's a historic house on a pie shaped lot. Picked up this house here. You can take a look at this. Everything is public knowledge, anyways. This is Palm Beach property buyers. I picked it up for 135,000 in 2019. I sold it to a family member at a great deal. Comps then were around 380, 390,000. She then sold it for 430,000 in 23. Now this is a beautiful house. You're never gonna be able to find a house like it. It's a historic house. You can't see a lot of the pictures, but here I can show you a little bit about it right here. Beautiful property over in West Palm Beach. This is the house right here. The Chicago brick by brick, was put down by this renowned architect, Maurice Fatio. These are the original hardwood floors from 1939. This house was built in 1939. Whenever we're remodeling this house or getting ready to flip this house, we actually redid all the floors with the same homestead pine wood, updated it obviously, opened up the ceiling so that it has more flow, doesn't feel so claustrophobic. These are all the original original windows from 1939. At that time they made you basically rebuild the windows, and I updated everything in that property like I do with all the properties that I flip. Added the tankless water heater. I built this outside, a little patio area. This was already closed in with the accordion windows, and we updated the entire house. These are the original blueprints from 1939. So I could talk the talk and I could walk the walk. This is why I like to show you guys this, not to show off or brag, but to show you legitimacy. The door over here is about a 2 inch and a half thick door, original door from 1939. Still lasts. All this wood is homestead pine, so doesn't get termites. These are original windows right here from 1939. They're stained glass windows. They're beautiful. They open to the outside. I mean, it's an amazing house. And these are some of the properties you could sometimes hit home runs on. Back to the foreclosure auction. This is right on 36th Street. Let's select on the case deposition, tenant, case disposition, party details. Mathan Investments Corporation. That's the plaintiff. This is gonna be selling. Final judgment is 219,000. Let's take a look at this. See how it copy the parcel ID and close this out. Paste it. Okay, this is the property right here in 2024. Circles LLC, quick claimed it to right property holdings and management. Will then Smith Aisha Wright. Let's see how big is this number of units. Total, it's a small house, 905 square foot house. Let's see the nearby sales. Nearby sales. These are much bigger houses. Excuse me. Yeah, these are much bigger houses built a lot later than the subject property. Subject property is built in 1974. Say they're not far off with the final judgment. You got maybe 60K left with meat on the bone with down. So there you have it. I could sit here all night and go through properties with you. I'm gonna add this one to the watch list that we could go through these and see what ended up happening with these properties. But I'm here happy to help you find your dream house, sell your property, downsize, upsize, whatever you're looking to do. This is what I do. Been in this business for a long time. Let me help you. Thank you for staying tuned, subscribe, and thank you very much.